After the first episode, you'll see. That's very casual. I like to acknowledge everybody.
Mm-hmm.
We do it on air. That's it. Welcome back to Yoga Express. It's all about moving the body to still the mind. My name is Banu Suresh. I'm your host for this program. As you can see, we practically have a full house right here today. And we have an amazing crew team in the control room who work so well together. I just couldn't resist having them come over today. I really appreciate that. Antonio Camacho, Lizette Perez, thank you so much for being with us again. We've missed you. You've not been here in about, 3-4 weeks now? So thank you so much. We really appreciate that. Thanks also to Ryan Stillwagon. Ryan is responsible for all the studio lights, setup, everything that makes us look so good out here. And we are looking at the monitor right there. I love it. It's so colorful. I would like to introduce two new participants to the show. People who are new to the show. I'm sure they're not new to yoga, but they're very new to this program and the show, and also an amazing special guest teacher who has not taught with us on the show before, but she has got a lot of experience at other places. So if you want to just check her out, you can. I will give you her name in just a moment. To my extreme left, we have Jennell. Jennell, did I say your name right?
Yes.
Tell us just a couple of seconds. Are you a student? You're just visiting from somewhere today?
I'm visiting from Maryland. I'm a student.
Okay.
Yes.
And you're Megan's best friend,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Jennell, thank you so much. You're
Sure,
actually
good to
taking a
see you.
bus right after the taping, I
Yes.
heard, right?
Yes.
Really appreciate you being here.
Thanks
Thank
for
you
having
so
me.
much. Our pleasure. To my immediate right, we have Mateo, but you know
Mateo, Sharuma.
Right. So tell me very quickly, what made you change, or what made you call yourself Mati?
Well, Mati is, I did the etymology for the name of Matthew, Mateo.
Okay.
And so I went as far as Hebrew, Matityahu.
Right.
And then we did more research. It was Manjari and myself, Megan, and we got a little bit further and found the Sanskrit preceded Matityahu, and it was Mati.
And
So
Mati
means brilliance of spiritual thought.
spiritual illumination.
Yes.
Did you realize my full name is Bhanumati? It's
No.
actually Bhanumati. Bhanu means sun, and Mati is brilliance of the sun. So it was a hard name to live
That's
up to,
beautiful.
so we just stayed with Bhanu.
That is a beautiful name.
It is lovely, but I know my dad's upstairs, so he won't mind. He was the one who gave me that name. But yeah, that's why I asked you what Mati meant and whether
Yeah.
you realize. It's a lovely name, but for me it was hard to live up to it. So welcome to the show.
I look forward for
I think a lot of
to
your
the
brilliance is also illuminating this room here.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here, Mati. Now for the big moment you guys have been waiting for. Megan Skelly. I've been saying Megan's name wrong all these days. I've been calling her Megan. Is it Megan? Megan?
Either one.
Oh no, I want to
China
say it
calls
right.
me Megan.
I'm going to make you call me Bhanumati going forward.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Bhanumati.
Yeah.
Megan, thank you so much, first of all, for being on the show. We really appreciate it. We want our viewers to know a little more about you. So I know you're Kripalu trained, right?
I am, yes.
And trauma.
Trauma
What is it
and-
we use?
Trauma informed.
What does that mean?
Actually, Mattia and I did the training, I believe it was last year. We did it with an organization called Liberation Prison Yoga, which is just a volunteer organization.
right.
But they do trauma for do yoga for populations that have trauma, especially in prisons.
PTSD
and
kind of stuff. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
So just being very mindful with the languaging and just being aware of certain
Right.
situations that people might have that are a little bit different from a typical yoga experience.
So there could be people also who are back from war, for example.
Absolutely, yeah.
So sound
Absolutely.
of guns going off, so any sudden sound even in our background music
Yeah.
could scare them. Okay. And what does it do for them? Oh, how do you help them? Let me put it that way. Well, how does your program help the trauma affected people?
So I don't actually teach with them. I teach yoga at Bellevue Hospital.
Okay.
With kids in the psychiatric ward.
Oh, with kids.
So yeah,
Nice.
with teenagers.
Okay.
Through a different volunteer organization, but
Right.
it's honestly, I think the practices of yoga just facilitate a big opening
Right.
in and of themselves. But it's just being very patient of the fact that different things are arising for them because of whatever it is that they're going through, and then also, like I said, the languaging is a big part of it. So it's more inviting. It's not so much of a command with certain things. Like you frame it much more in the personal sense. You would say, I like to, in my practice, move forward and bring myself into a child's pose or whatever.
So they're personalizing everything, but in a very gentle way. It's not like you are instructing them necessarily.
Yeah, you're kind of guiding them through the
Very
experience, and it's much more inviting and voluntary.
That sounds a
so.
lot also like the Kripalu training that you had, right?
Exactly.
Very gentle.
Yeah, they go
So-
together very well.
Oh, I'm going to
so.
be very comfortable because I know I'm going to stay. You'll see me in the adaptive level, and then you can have Jennell and Mati go into. Mati, you look very fit. Oh my God. Oh, we're going to talk about that the next time you come here on the show.
Okay.
So tell me a little more. Is there anything else you'd like our viewers to know about you? They already know how to contact you. So it's manjariyoga.com. It's right there on the
Yes.
screen. Anything else? They can contact you through the website. You have a contact page?
I do, yes,
Okay.
I do. So
Okay.
yes, the phone number and email is on there, and I'm just very grateful to be here. That's all I have left to say.
We are really thrilled to have you here. Megan, what do you have planned for us? today?
So I have two short sequences planned. One is a bit more grounded. Something that I've been going through a lot lately is working on grounding myself. New York City is very, I'm sure as viewers all know, it can be very stressful and always a kind of rushing lifestyle. So this sequence is a bit more on the floor, not all of it, but it's a lot more grounded and focusing on grounding. And then the second sequence is a bit more standing, focused.
The second sequence is actually going to be taped next week. You're coming next week, right?
Yes.
So
yes,
that's
yes.
fine. We
Okay.
will be ready for it. And when you practice with us here, we're going to practice whatever you teach us today. We're going to practice all week, so we prepare ourselves for the next episode.
Oh, okay. So
we're
just some
looking forward to
foreshadowing.
that.
Just some
No, that's
foreshadowing.
fine. You gave away the secret, but that's fine because
Okay.
I like to be prepared. I like to
Okay.
be prepared.
Very
So I
cool.
really appreciate that.
Thank you.
Were you planning on doing any breathing before we start? Because I really love that you discussed that before we started today. You're going to do some breathing as well?
Yes.
Breathing? Perfect.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
pranayama is very, very big in my tradition that I've studied. So,
Right.
and it helps me a lot too. So.
Actually, one more thing I'm curious about before we move on.
Mhm.
What made you choose the word Manjari? I know you told me it meant something, right?
I did, yeah, a while ago. So it's actually the same as what Mati told you. It's
Right.
the oldest etymology of my name that we could trace, Megan,
Okay.
which is I think from in the Greek is Margaret, and then it's in Sanskrit,
Right.
And it means a collection. So usually it's used for like a kind of a bouquet of flowers.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that, and I thought I understood a little bit of Sanskrit. That's beautiful, though.
Stories.
Or
nice
stories, yeah. It's used in a lot of
collection
different contexts, but
Right.
yeah.
Oh, that's beautiful. Manjari Yoga, Manjariyoga. And at the end, you will also see that in the credits. So we're ready for the breathing. We're ready to breathe
Okay.
with you.
Yes. So this, so you can go ahead and find a comfortable seat. I like to keep my legs crossed, but you can also, as
that
Banu
okay?
is
Yeah.
doing, whatever works for you. And then something that I always say at the beginning of my classes always is to just be mindful of your body. Body wisdom is very important. So you know if you have any injuries. So just listening to your body. You want to challenge yourself and have a fun practice, but you also want to listen if your body's asking you to rest. So again, finding a comfortable seat. You can go ahead and shift your seat a little bit from side to side just to find the center. And you can place your hands palms down. If you feel like you need some grounding, you want to bring your energy down. Or you can face them palms up if you feel a little tired and you feel like you need some energy today. And then go ahead and closing the eyes if that works for you, or you can just keep a very gentle gaze. Begin to breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. Again, in through the nose and out through the mouth. Once more, in through the nose and out through the mouth. Bringing the hands gently to the belly, taking again an inhale through the nose and just feeling the belly expand. And then releasing the breath, feeling the belly draw in towards the spine. Moving the hands up to the rib cage, taking an inhale, feeling the belly fill up and the ribs expand. And then exhaling, feeling the ribs draw in and the belly draw in. And then finally moving the hands up to the collarbones, to the upper chest. Bone's already gone. Breathing in through the nose.
I couldn't find my belly. It's too much.
Okay. Breathing in through the nose. Drawing in this 3-part breath. Filling up the entire belly and chest. And then exhaling, feeling the chest drop. Ribs drop in and the belly draw in. Go ahead releasing the hands. You can continue to carry on this 3-part breathing if that works for you. Just taking 2 more deep breaths at your own pace. And I invite you to set an intention for your practice today. You can bring the hands into the chest if that works for you in prayer position. And it can be anything that's meaningful to you. You can choose a word such as peace, something that you want to cultivate in your life. Or it can be dedicated to a person, or even just thanking yourself for practicing today. So just taking a moment to set that intention. And whenever you have it in your mind, drawing it in with your inhale into the body. And on an exhale, sending it out into the world. Releasing the hands. Shake them out a little bit in front of you. Taking another deep inhale through the nose. And then letting out a sigh through the mouth. Sighing is very big in the Kripalu tradition. It's a good way to release a lot of pent-up energy. And then you can go ahead and interlace the fingers of the hands and inhale the arms up overhead. And then exhaling, rounding and dropping the hands in front of you, rounding the spine, drawing the belly button in towards the spine. And then one more time, inhaling up, reaching the hands up towards the sky. And again, exhaling, rounding. Once more, inhaling and extending and exhaling to fold. And then gently walking the hands out in front of you. You can drop them to the mat, just giving yourself a little stretch here. So Kripalu always likes to incorporate, I like to incorporate it also, the 6 movements of the spine. Inhaling the hands back up towards the body. So we did flexion and extension, and then we're going to again inhale the arms up overhead. You don't have to interlace them this time. And then clasping them at the top, dropping the other fingers and leaving the index fingers pointing upwards like a steeple, you can go ahead and drop side to side. Finding some gentle movement in your own rhythm. Also being mindful of your neighbor. We have a very intimate class setting today. And remembering the breath. And then slowly coming back to the center and exhaling to release the hands. Dropping the hands back to the knees. You can go ahead and inhale the arms up overhead one more time. And then twisting, take the left hand down to the right knee. Very good. And then slowly also exhale the right hand down by the side of your right hip, just to give yourself a gentle twist. And the most important part here is actually the lower portion of the body, the torso. So you want to make sure you're not twisting your neck too stiffly. And then inhale back up to the center. And exhale, switch sides. A little more rapidly this time. Inhaling back up to the center. And exhale to the right. Once more, inhaling back up. Looking up towards the sky and exhaling to twist back to the left. Inhale up to the center. And exhale, bringing the hands through the center. Into the chest one more time. Go ahead and bring yourself onto your hands and knees. And then just go ahead and push back into a child's pose very quickly. So sending the hips back to meet the heels. You can rock a little bit from side to side here just to kind of bring some fluidity into the hips. And this is the resting position, so at any point feel free to come here and rest. And then on your next inhale, bring yourself back up onto hands and knees. And slowly begin to walk your feet up towards your hands.
I'm gonna bring the mic close.
Okay. And then allow yourself to hang here. Keep a bend in your knees as much as you need, which will release any tension in the lower back. You can even grab for opposite elbows. And you want to release your head and neck and just allow yourself to sway here from side to side. Remembering to breathe.
Yeah, that's the part I forget.
I think that's the part most of us forget. And then slowly inhaling and allowing the hands to trace up the legs, rolling up to stand. And when you get to the top, just take a moment to glance down at your feet, making sure your feet are about hip width apart. So you can either measure using 2 fists, place them in between your hands, or you can turn 1 foot sideways, and that's about hip width for most people, as it's different for everyone. So when you get to the top, go ahead and inhale, roll the shoulders up to the ears, press them really tightly up, and then exhale, sigh and release. One more time, inhaling them up. And exhale, release. This time, inhaling the arms up overhead by the ears again, as we did earlier. And then using that dropping motion in the shoulders, keep the arms extended overhead, but roll the shoulders down away from the ears. Beautiful. Then, go ahead and begin to bend your knees and send your seat back behind you, pressing very firmly into the corners of your feet. So sitting down into chair pose. You want to make sure that you're tucking your tailbone also in this pose and making sure that your knees do not extend past your toes. So you can go ahead and look down at your toes just to make sure you're protecting your knees.
Is there a reason for that?
Reason for what?
For the knees?
Just making sure that you're not overextending your knees. The knees are a very sensitive joint. And you can inhale and rise up slightly, and then exhale, sitting a bit lower.
I can see you making it harder.
And then again, exhaling and folding, and just allowing yourself to roll out for a moment. You can paddle your feet out, so lifting one heel off the ground and then the other, with the knees deeply bent again to protect the lower back. And then again, inhaling, slowly rolling the hands up the body. And coming up to stand. When you get here, you can bring the hands into the chest again. And just take a moment to breathe. In through the nose. And out through the mouth. Once more, in through the nose. And out through the mouth. Looking down at the feet, you can pick the toes up off the ground and rock your feet a little bit from side to side to really just feel the four corners of the feet. We're going to get nice and grounded here, as I think I said in our preview interview. So really, when you drop the toes back down, just make sure you're pressing firmly through the entire surface of your feet, because we are going to do a balancing pose.
Thanks for the heads up.
You're welcome. So looking down at your feet again, you can begin to shift the weight into the left leg, making sure that you're keeping a bend in your standing knee, so you're not overextending the joint. And then you can begin to lift the right foot up off the ground. You can use the hand to help you if you need, and making sure you're either planting it on the floor underneath the knee, or you can bring it up, if it's available to you, above the knee. You want to make sure you never place it directly on the knee. As I was telling Banu Mati, it's a very sensitive joint. And then you can use the hands to help you press down, again grounding, by placing them on the hips, or you can bring the hands to the center of the chest, or if you're feeling really feisty today, you can reach them up overhead. Beautiful.
It's amazing what a simple move takes so much energy.
It does, yes. And it helps to find a drishti, or a focusing point, across the room. Something that's not moving. And then slowly exhaling and releasing the leg, releasing the arms. Shake everything out. Balancing takes a lot of concentration, so it's nice to give a little energy release. Sometimes you don't realize how much you're holding in your face.
I sometimes even hold my breath.
Me too.
Just focusing so much.
Yeah.
Right.
So preparing for the other side, go ahead and do your foot grounding again. I like to even give myself a little bounce on my knees just to really feel that weight in my lower half and send my energy down into my feet. And then looking down at the right foot, can again place the hands on the hips to help you keep a bend in the right knee, and inhale to bring the left foot up off of the ground and bring it to whichever height you're comfortable with. And then again, bringing the arms to whatever height works for you. And this time really just focusing on softening in this pose. So pressing down firmly into the earth through that standing foot. And also as you inhale, extend through the spine.
I've heard sages would stay in the tree position for years to get a boon.
Wow.
But if you want a boon, you and I have to stay at least for 5 seconds.
So go ahead and exhale, drop everything back down. And shaking out again.
Jennell, you did really well there. Nice. She's very still, right? That's good.
She has a very grounded energy, this one.
Kapha dosha, as an Ayurveda class would say. Is that what you would say too?
Kapha dosha. He has it as well. Yeah, but that balance is different on different days and on different sides, of course.
No, that's true too. Yeah.
So inhaling the arms up overhead. Can you give a little arch to the back if that's available for you? And then exhaling, folding forward. Coming back into that forward fold again, Uttanasana. Again, swaying a little bit from side to side, just to kind of release all that intense concentration work we've been doing. And then you can plant the hands on the mat to help you, bending the knees as much as you need, of course. And step the feet as wide as the mat. And then send the tailbone down towards the earth, coming into Malasana. This is a very good grounding pose, also very good for digestion.
Megan, would could you help our viewers understand the breathing that Mati does is really effective? Is that the one they call the ocean breath, the ujjayi?
It is.
Just so our viewers
yes.
know why it's important.
Yes, ujjayi breathing. So you're actually getting much more oxygen in the lungs when you're doing this breath.
Right.
So it's basically the 3-part breathing we were doing earlier, but you're contracting the back of the throat, so it makes almost an ocean-like sound. So it's
Sounds
very
amazing, especially when Mati does it with that full force.
yeah. So
Right,
feel free
try
to
and
experiment
practice.
with that one. And as you're here, you can again play with shifting the weight a little bit from side to side, and just inhaling, pressing into the palms of the hands to really extend through the spine. One more inhale. And on the exhale, drop the hands down to the mat, and you can send the seat down behind you, coming to sit. And then scooting back a little bit on your mat to about halfway.
I had a teacher who would call that the Indian potty style.
Body style.
The squat, right?
Yeah,
The malasana does help when
It does.
when you need to release.
Right.
it does.
It actually, yeah.
And Americans need help with that, from what I understand. You can place the hands over top of the kneecaps. I'm sorry. So the knees are still bent and the feet are flat on the mat. And I like to use this as a little bit of a grounding to extend my spine. Nice and straight. You can inhale the arms up and slowly begin to lift one foot off the mat at a time, drawing the belly button in towards the spine, engaging the abs. And
What
breathing
abs?
here,
I've got a
very
12-pack
nice.
there. I can't see my abs.
And then exhale, slowly begin to lower yourself down.
Shall we do heads to the center for privacy?
Sure, we can do that. Thank you, Bono. This is my first
Oh, no.
visit on the show.
No, that's great.
Thank you very much. So it's also very important to bring yourself into Shavasana at the end of every practice, even if it's only a minute or so, because your body will absorb the benefits of the practice.
So when we are going back, when we are leaning back from that boat position you just took us down, are we expected to just keep going down all the way?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because I interrupted that flow, so I just want to be sure I'm getting it right.
Thank you, Bono. I like to even do some pulses with that. So inhale, coming back up into the boat pose, and then exhaling, releasing down.
Okay.
So that's a good way to kind of wear yourself out to be ready to
Right.
rest. And here you can leave your hands alongside you, or you can bring one hand to your belly and one hand to your heart. And again, just focusing on inhaling through the nose, expanding the belly and the chest.
Oh, we have the credits rolling. I just want to acknowledge our crew, Lizette and Antonio, thank you so much. And thanks to Ryan Stillwagon as well. On behalf of Jennell and Mati, we'd like to thank Megan Skelly. Megan's details are also in the rolling credits at the end. Stay in touch with her, manjariyoga.com. You are watching Yogaxpress. We can keep going if you want to.
Thank you. So yes, you can just inhale and feel the belly rise.